poll. Moved Jamie Goff, seconded David East. I'll put the motion. All those in favour say aye. Those opposed say no. That's carried. Thank you. Item number 8, the Environment Committee. Part A report. First, in relation to a committee recommendation arising from a deputation, and that would like to be moved by Phil Clearwater, seconded by Pauline. Oh, sorry, Pauline Cotter. Sorry. And would you like to speak to it?
Look, thank you. And just it's starting a minor correction, just so we're clear. This came from the Christchurch Food Resilience Network. These people are here today. Dr. Matt Morris is too. And just to clarify, under 1.1, it's like a typo, but it's a crucial part. It's about growing the best edible garden city in the world. And we are expecting a report about this. I understand that report is being about food forests and edible gardens, that's being done in conjunction with our City Council staff and the Food Resilience Network people. And so there are some clear ideas that the community board, sorry, not the board, the committee had to support progressing this concept. And I guess while the report should include some policy for us, so that in fact we can incorporate edible gardens as part of the way we do things, and it's great that this has come from community groups, but it's also how perhaps can we progress this as soon as possible, even potentially, to include some spring plantings. But perhaps Jane might like to comment on where the report's at, but I understand it's not too far away.
The report's well in hand, and I think it was requested for the next Environmental Committee, and we'll make that date.
Great. Pauline?
Thank you. This was a really inspiring presentation and a great short film that was shown to us. And I'd just like to take this opportunity to reiterate that the Shirley Papanui Community Board has run its second Edible Garden Awards, which are not a competition, they're a recognition of people's edible gardens, and it's going from strength to strength. And I would really like to encourage other boards, other wards to pick this up, because people love it. We run it separately from the Garden Pride Awards because it's a different demographic and it's a different kaupapa, if you like. But that's not to say that you can't eat flowers, so you could see a time when perhaps they could merge in some places. And I really believe that our food growing is going to strengthen us as a resilient city. So I know that Littleton Mount Herbert have run one as well, and so the model's there, it just needs to be picked up and run with. So as I say, it's really encouraging that people are extremely interested and they're contributing and they're going from strength to strength. We do want to move that to becoming eventually organic gardens, or perhaps a section to be organic, but we're just taking it slowly to encourage people and schools and communities with their gardens. It also provides a great platform for networking for people. Great photographs come out in the evening and people going, I didn't know you could grow that, it's fantastic. So it's a really positive project, so I do encourage other boards to adopt that. Thank you.
Excellent. Paul?
Yes, we've actually already planted a food forest up in the valley of Sumner. I did it about a month back, and I helped dig some of the holes, which were particularly hard to actually dig, I have to say. But just one small concern just around, and that was speaking with the person who put the planting plan together, and it's around the nutrients in the soil and the watering and making sure the food forest is sustainable and it actually you can actually look after itself. So in other words, when the leaves drop off, they actually help grow and put the nutrients back in the soil. So the only concern I have is around plantings on the boom in streets where you don't have watering and you don't have the nutrients that potentially should be in there. So there needs to be a wee bit of thought put around that, because we want to make these things actually sustainable. We want to make sure that they don't cause other issues. And as I say, I'm a big, huge supporter, but we need to make sure we do it right so they are actually sustainable.
Andrew?
Yeah, just following on from Pauline's comments, we ran the Edible Garden Awards in the Littleton Mount Herbert ward for the first time last year. Was well supported. There was some amazing projects came out of that actually, and a really lovely evening of giving the awards and learning about people's edible gardens, which was great. In the context of the recommendation, just looking at the last line, bring a further food resilience policy and action plan to council in November. I would urge staff in doing that to use all of the resources that are out there in our community. So thinking of the Food Resilience Network, thinking of groups like Project Littleton, for argument's sake, who've run a successful community garden and have advocated for edible plantings for a long time. Recently in Littleton, a type of food forest has been put forward and is being planted around planting fruit trees along our local children's main walk to school, so that they can be picking fruit from the trees as they walk from home to school and vice versa and so on. So there's a lot of embedded knowledge out there in our communities that I would encourage staff to use as a resource and engage with, so that we're not duplicating any of the good work that's already been done.
Okay, I'll put the motion. All those in favour say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no.
I'm assuming that's the council report coming back in September.
Eh?
I'm assuming, as Jane mentioned, that the report was coming back in September. To the environment. Yep, that's fine.
Yep. Yep, sorry. So those opposed say no. That's carried. All right, good. Thank you. And the next one is the Regional Public Transport Plan, Public Transport Corridor Priorities and Overview. The motion before us, moved by Phil Clearwater, seconded by Jimmy Chen. Is there any discussion? Yep.
I had a question. Really appreciate the work that this committee is doing around public transport. I know not always easy, but when I read through the report, I couldn't see any reference to consultation with the community or with the public. So it just seems that we're being agreed to ask around investment priorities for infrastructure without any discussion with our community about what those priorities are. And I just wanted to know if the chair or maybe staff could respond whether they felt that we should perhaps, if we've talked to people, and if not, maybe what a process we could do to do that. Thank you.
Well, I'm happy to comment that, like, for example, with the current inner city Christchurch transport plan, although that is a SERA plan, the inner city part, our council staff are busy engaging, talking with people to get their views about that, and that has started. I guess, for example, when it comes to some of the public transport hubs, there's been already huge discussions with the communities and the community boards. So, you know, there has been discussion. I think as a council we need to keep in mind these are strategic issues and somehow we need to get them done. But that doesn't mean that we not involve our communities wherever we can.
But ECAN is going to go out to public consultation on the revised RPTP in August, September this year. Is that right? So that we submit to it and then they go out for public consultation. Yeah. All right, so I'll put the motion. All those in favour say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. That's carried. Thank you. The next item is the Hallsville Domain.